Hello everyone. Once again, I welcome you all to Career in Pharma and another episode of Expert Talk Show. Now today's expert is Dr. Anup Joshi, who is BDS by degree and having more than 20 years of experience into pharma corporate. And in this 20 years of his experience, he roughly worked for around 7 to 8 years in India. After that, he moved to the United States and there he is having more than 10 years of experience now. So to get maximum out of this interaction, I would request you to watch this video till the very end. Personally, I learned a lot from Dr. Anup's journey and through his personal experience and life experience, and I'm really happy to have this interaction with Dr. Anup. And I really feel that you are also going to learn the same, but for that, please stay till the end. So let's begin with this interaction. Everyone, once again I welcome you all to Career in Pharma. So today we have a very special guest with us, Dr. Anup Joshi, and let me tell you, he is into clinical data management domain and having more than 15, Dr. Anup will tell now. So having more than 15, 20 years of experience and is very much senior. And other than this, let me tell you, he is in the US and he is working there and he's working there for more than 10 years now. So definitely we have so many things to learn from Dr. Anup today through this conversation, and definitely going to get so many insights from Dr. Anup today. So we'll start this conversation with Dr. Anup. And hello, good evening, sir, for coming here. And first of all, thank you for taking out time from your busy schedule. And welcome once again.
Thank you, Neema. Thank you, Dr. Neema.
So, Dr. Anup, first of all, we'll start with your, brief introduction where you can share, your qualification and also when you completed and how long is your journey till date, like how many years of experience and all those things. You can just start with.
Sure. So thank you first, Dr. Neema, for having me here. I have about 20 plus years of experience, and I graduated in 2000, and been in the clinical world for practice at least for 3 years, I guess. And then after that, all my life has been in the corporate world.
Mm-hmm. Okay. 3 years of clinical practice, after that corporate.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So it's like, okay, more than 20 years. So how much in India and after that, how much in New Jersey you are now, right?
Well, out of that, I think I spent about 7 years in India working in the corporate world. And then in the United States, I think I've worked around 13 years now. So I think I came in 2010 and now it's almost 14th year in running. Yes. Yeah.
Huge. So, Dr. Anup, with this, I just wanted to know, you were very clear with your career, like you have to be in corporate, because I can see still, even when I started, I was like not very clear. And then, in just 3 years, what happened? Like you got that clarity that I have to continue in corporate only, or how this clarity you got actually to just continue into your corporate sector?
Well, actually, I was never clear about my career. I only knew that I wanted to serve the patients and be of help to them. But as I started the journey, there were a few opportunities which came by. The first opportunity was I joined Infosys on a contractor basis for voice recognition transcription. And that was the time which I was exposed to the corporate world. And then I joined as a consultant to a dental ceramic lab. And then I also worked as a trainer for the hearing and speech challenge because I knew that language a little bit. I trained them in dental ceramics, and basically the dental aspects of things where you start building the prosthetics. So these some of these experiences, and I work 7 days a week, by the way, and these experiences kind of made me question, do I have a bigger potential than I have right now, and how can I make that, so am I in the right place? And definitely 4 walls of the clinic was not going to cut it, right? And I think that is why I started questioning, and that was a very frustrating process. Also, it was not a very simple one. It was a very frustrating one, but I'm here.
So, Dr. Anup, like this three things you said, like voice recognition, transcription, and then ceramic lab, and then speech thing. All these three things you were doing together. I mean, like 7 days.
Yeah, and it's almost one after the one. Okay. So it's a period of it's almost one after the other. So my practice was a part-time, but I had a full house. So it was a little you can say I dedicated so I worked generally from 7 in the morning to 10 in the night, and 7 days a week. So I had almost worked 2 shifts.
Oh.
Yeah. So it was a very lot of hard work. There was a lot of hard work during that time. And I was raring to go. I said, let's do it. And yeah, that was it.
So means like you had these options with you where, you can just go with any single option, right? So you decided for this corporate one then.
Yes, see, these were options which also were presented themselves. Yeah. But I was open to those options. Right? It is important that you be open to options, and I was, and the options presented themselves. So it's like all those manifestation, which you call it, they got manifested in some way.
True. 100% true. You should be open to those option, no? Yeah. So with this, Dr. Anup, definitely it's something like, you just started and then, the things started falling in place. But any one factor you can quote, like for many nowadays, I don't know back then what was the scenario. One thing is like financial stability people are looking for from dental background, from clinical background specifically, because in clinics, like how's the scenario now. But any one factor you can, say because of which you just started with corporate.
See, I think thinking about financial stability in that age is quite normal. You have anxieties about your financial stability, because the next, in our Indian culture, that's one important phase where you want to get. But it shouldn't be that shouldn't be the important factor, because I think there's one more factor which is also coming behind it, which is the ability or the interest or the urge to do something good for people around you, make a difference. So there is one financial stability, and then there's ability to make a difference, and these two go hand in hand. And they are that in that age group where we are talking about, early 20s to late 20s, these two groups, these two faculties of mind are highly active. It's a matter of just switching these two and just making a difference to others' lives. I think that is most important. And it doesn't work that way, I know, but eventually it will work that way, because you will keep aside, the moment you have financial stability, you will keep that aside and you'll start making a difference. So in my quest for finding what is the right path, these two were always making a chaos in my mind, I should say. Right? But finally, it takes a lot of introspection. It takes a lot of I wrote down my goals. I wrote down a 5-year goal, and I reached those goals. I made a 5-year course. So my journey has been a textbook method. And I wrote down what you read in books. I have read a lot of books. I read a lot of books during that time. I realized that, and this is all inside, right? This is all what I've learned myself, thanks to my dad, who used to bring in library books from his office. And it was really good. And that exposed me to these things. The second thing is you also, my friends, my peers, my bosses, they were all equally supportive of me taking that journey. There were a few says, "Hey, are you sure you want to do this?" And then finally, your mother, she is very important too. So you have to have a blessings, and that blessings come when you have a clear mind, clear sight of thought, right? Without that clear sight, it doesn't come. Correct. So a lot of things went around into making that decision.
So from this, I got to know one thing, like you started reading books, right? Because reading books gives very much clarity in life. So yes. This goal thing you mentioned, right? You had goals for next 5 years. Yeah, so yeah, it's a very good point actually. So clarity should be there, and definitely, just not just financial stability, that impact which we can make, both the things should go hand in hand. So with this, Dr. Anup, next question is, like, I was just going through your LinkedIn profile also, like, and we heard from you also, like, it's a huge experience now and more than 10 years in New Jersey. So, like, during this entire journey till now, like, because see, corporate is entirely different from what we do in clinicals. Entirely different, maybe the knowledge wise, definitely we are going to use it, but the way we work is totally different. But what was the factor which kept you going? Because it's not just because you practice clinical for 3 years, but yeah, before that, 5 years of studies. It's an entirely different thing. What was the factors like which kept you going for so long, or maybe initial few years, I would say.
So remember we talked about those two things, the financial stability and the ability to make a difference, right? Those two was the driving factors, definitely. But the ability to make a difference, I was very confident that I could make a difference. And I was a little adamant, I should say, or I should be a little well, let me put it this way. I was very ambitious. And the when you are ambitious, any task given to you, you work it out very well. You plan for it, you anticipate, so basically you walk the talk and you talk the walk. Right? That is a clear way of doing things right. And because you, in the journey of corporate, you will have to do this walk the talk and talk the walk many times. If you fail to do any one of these, then you're lost. And I think throughout the journey, my bosses have also been very. They have been, let's say, let me say, they put some pressure in my wings. Okay, for me to become a butterfly, right? So it was not. So the metamorphosis which happened, it happened because of some pressure. The pressure could be of projects, it could be because of my bosses, because it could be of situation, environment. But finally, you need to be in a mode of making it happen. Again, throughout the period, I still read books. I have a coach today. I have a coach. So when I first thought of having a coach, I was a little, should I have a coach? I don't think I need a coach, but so there is no place for ego here. It's always time to be humble. So I know that as dentists, we are very siloed. We come and do our job, then the next specialist comes and does the job, and then the next specialist, and then we are gone. And we hardly discuss the feedback about what one person has done and the other person has done, what what is the best way. We do speak in conferences, but that's again in a very formal way. So in the corporate environment, you have to be prepared for 360-degree feedback. Anybody and everybody can tell you what you are, who you are, how you should be, and how. You should also be able to manage perceptions. So perceptions, are not the truth. So you'll always be perceived something. So then what do you do to correct it? Are you able to articulate your message exactly the way you want it? And do people understand it the same way? So some of these, a lot of factors, it's not an easy one. There's a lot of competition in corporate. There are a lot of things which normally people who are not from corporate don't understand. They come in with their notion of this is how things work, but 9 out of 10 times it's not sure. They have to be open. They have to talk to people. They have to be open about did I do something right or did I do something wrong? And we don't ask this as dentists, isn't it?
Yes.
We don't ask this because we work in silos. We are working mostly that period of internship. That is where we get feedback, but otherwise we never get feedback.
Correct.
Right? So corporate is continuous bombardment every day, every moment. Clients, customers, your peers, your bosses, your people reporting to you. They can have a gala time with with what they think their boss should be.
100% true. So with this, Dr. Anup, because just now you were saying that your seniors were there who just, put pressure in your wings. The thing is not this pressure thing you said, no, it's not easy to handle it also.
Yes.
All this pressure, many times people say stress and all this, whatever you call it, how you handle it. Many times many people take it like otherwise, or maybe they will leave, quit the job also. This handling pressure in corporate.
Well, let me tell you, there were times when I failed under pressure. Okay. But I can tell you that it is a game of anticipation. You have to be learned to anticipate what comes next and deal with it. You have to remain in the present and not have any perceptions about past and future, anything. So there'll be a lot of situations in corporate which are pressure based. But I can tell you that I think the library of all kinds of pressures is already built in corporate. You have to be able to learn from lessons learned from others, right? Mistakes made from others, lessons learned. You have to make an attempt to have those lessons learned exercise with yourself and with others. So what happens is that then you have to be speaking with everybody. You have to speak with your team members. You have to network. And only then you will know that, oh, so you also went through the same thing. So this is a trend. So it's not me, it's something else, right? And so most of the time, it's not the person, it is the system or it is something else. So but unless you know that, unless you speak, unless you make an attempt, unless you're well informed, like for example, if you're not knowing anything about, you're just talking about it, if you never know what email is, then corporate world is all about emails. And if you think yourself you're under pressure because you never knew email, then think about it. You would want to learn about it. Right? So in email was a very simple example, but there are many such examples we can say where you should have known. The question in corporate is always you should have known. And so what happens is that you're almost playing the game of anticipation. Whether it is how a customer is going to respond, whether your team is going to respond, your boss is going to respond. So all of this is already there. I think I won't be wrong if I say that this is all a library. You just have to pick out the book of library, and you need to you have everything written out. And there's huge material available there on ChatGPT. It's there on, and also it's there on the net. So there's nothing which you cannot. It's all you have to do is this is about shaping your attitude. Your attitude matters. If your attitude is no, it's okay, I don't care, then you will have the same kind of response from others. But if you are self-promoting yourself, if you're competitive, if you are having self-confidence, you're building that every day, it shows. You vibrate at a different level, right? You vibrate. When you do that, there's energy in the surrounding, and suddenly the pressure is reduced, right?
Attitude matters a lot. Yeah, it's a takeaway from this conversation. 100%. And yeah, definitely pressure is something many times we think that maybe why only us, but yeah, it's a system and we don't communicate. That is a drawback actually. So with this, Dr. Anup, I just wanted to know this, your going to the US it was an internal movement, happens inside company, or like it was a planned thing? How you started like?
So it was an internal movement. But at the same time, I had told my leadership that I would like to go. So the reason I'm saying this is that a lot of people who think that, oh, they know I'm good, so they will send me. No, it doesn't happen that way.
In which company you were that time?
I was in Cognizant at that time.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people think that, if you think I'm good at my work, so they will definitely send me. That doesn't work always. You need to tell that, what your ambitions are, what you would like to do. So self-promotion is, to a certain extent, it works very well in corporate, but you have to be very careful, because then you need to be committed to that goal. And if you change that goal, you better have a good reason.
So it was an internal movement from Cognizant then, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, a very good takeaway from this is you have to self-promote, because many times we think that we are doing good work, so they will recognize it or identify it, but no, it doesn't work this way. You have to promote yourself. Yeah, it's 100% true. Even in daily life also, you have to maybe self-praise. You have to tell like it happens.
But you have to do it for the real purpose of self-promotion should be to make a difference in other people's lives. So you have to do this for yourself. You're doing already, right? It has to make a difference in people's lives too, right? So that's why you have to be very careful about not being perceived as egoistic or narcissistic.
Correct.
Right? A lot of self-promotion is bad. A lot of promoting yourself all the time, every time, that also can be perceived very in a wrong way.
Yes.
It can create a lot of unnecessary pressure to that person who is doing himself to. So you have to take that with a pinch of salt, but at the same time, it is needed there, because many times in corporate world, people think that, oh, my boss understands or my team will understand. But when we have not said that out, when we have not communicated. So everything needs to be said out, everything needs to be clearly said and done and articulated well, so that everybody understands.
Assumption should not be there.
No assumptions. Absolutely no assumptions.
Yes, yes, true. So, Dr. Anup, like it was an internal movement. So, I just wanted to know like little more. Then you shifted there for some project or short term project, or how it happened. Then you are for more than 10 years there now. So inside Cognizant, like it was some small project for which they sent you there.
Yes. So I first started in the US in 2010. So it was for a small, well, not a relatively, well, I should say it was not a small. So generally, I knew that this was going to be a long term, based on what the project was and things like that. So I knew that it would be a long term project, but I came in here, and then it was any newcomer who comes here to US, it starts with your place of living. You have to struggle finding an apartment or a home or whatever you want to do. You have to get a new license because your license is not going to work. And then I drove on the streets of Mumbai, and now here I drove here in the US. It's a sea change in the way we drive. You have to learn how to drive. Obviously, the currency was different. Thinking in rupees all the time instead of dollars, or thinking of dollars all the time when you're so that changed. So the financial acumen changed. We're not using the SI system like we use millions here. The lakhs we use lakhs in India there. So a lot of those fundamental things changed, and then the living style. We have maids in India, right? We don't have maids here. Although I should say in New Jersey that's possible, and any other place also it's possible, but we didn't know about those kind of things when we came. So and then so we have to give times for household chores, and then there was you have to understand who is a stranger and who is a good Samaritan. It was very difficult to find out that. So I had a person knock on my door at 7:30 in the evening with a glass of wine in his hand, and that was the first time I met him. And I realized later that he was my neighbor. But I didn't let him in that time. But that was a way of greeting any person, and I didn't know that. So, but then in the same way, when you stop in a railway station and you walk out, there's a person who comes to you and asks for money, and you have to give that. So in the first scenario, he was a good Samaritan. In the second one, he was a stranger, right? So in India, it doesn't work. In India, maybe things have changed too, but it's a little easier because we've been in the same culture. We know how people look. So here, people don't look the way we generally see in India. They're all from different nationalities, and so they have different cultures, different ways, different attitudes, different behaviors. So getting all that in few minutes, or few days, or few months was a sea change, and there were struggles there.
So still, definitely now it's been more than 10 years. So these kind of struggle won't be there now, right? Now, definitely it's been more than 10 years. So
yes, now we know. I know. In general, I don't take anything for granted now. Yes.
So, Dr. Anup, when this was an internal movement, definitely your work visa, everything, company takes care, right? You don't have to bother about it. But yeah, when you are looking for a job over there, then definitely other company where you will join. I mean, I just want to understand in this work visa which the company provides you in the internal movement, at that time, you can also look for a change for other jobs, companies you can apply.
So it depends on the visa which you can. In the visa which I came, I couldn't look for a job outside. I had to get a green card, go through the once I got a green card, which took like 5-7 years for me, 5 to 6 years. And then after that, I could actually start applying for somewhere else. But even after I had my green card, I was still loyal to my company, and I was there for some time. At least I was there, I think, for at least 3 years after I got my green card. So it is not necessary that you change the company which you. A lot of times, that may not work out in your favor, because the time taken to understand a place is so less, and once you jump immediately, that may be a severe culture shock for you. So I would say acclimatize yourself with the place, with the company, with the rules and regulations of the land, and then make an informed move.
True. So after your green card, then I mean you started applying to other companies, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So Other thing I just want to know, Dr. Anup, work culture wise, how it is there, in companies in US. I mean,
Yes. So work culture wise, firstly, I want to say there's not a lot of difference, but I will say I'll point out a few pointers. So in India, or maybe other countries too, employment, being an employee is normal. Being a contractor is not. In the US, it's different. Being a contractor is better than being an employee. And that's the general thought. You can debate on it, but that's a general thought. So the moment you come here, if you're offered a contractor job, people should not say no, because there are handsomely paid, there are handsome dividends for it. They may not cover the benefits, but your salary is enough to cover the benefits. So you have to plan a little bit. You have to you have to do some research on your own. But all I'm saying is that generally contractors are also well paid than the employees. They are as good as employees, I should say. And that shouldn't be an issue to start, because in India, being a contractor is not taken very seriously, or very, they don't like it. But here, contractor jobs are a norm. And work is normally remote here, at least in the pharma region. I can tell you that remote work is normal, except unless you are a clinical scientist and you want to have to work in the lab. But even then, there are some companies who are insisting on coming back home, which is fine. But I have been in the remote work even before COVID started. So this is my 6th year in remote. So I've been working 6 years remotely now. So it shouldn't be an issue. Otherwise, the other change I can tell you is that, which I see in India too, but people are they can be very hands-on. So normally in India, the career curve is where you want to grow up and you want to become a team lead, or you want to become manager, basically being hands-off. But here it doesn't happen that way. Hands-on continues even when you are a director, senior director, you still can be hands-on. It depends on what kind of project it is and what your involvement is. But don't be surprised if people at people at the top are very, very hands-on. They know the programs, they know how to program, they know how to write a script. So basically, when you come over here and you think that a manager or a director, he doesn't know what he's doing, that's a very wrong notion. Or he's just managing you, he's just looking at people. No, it is not that way. Although there are some roles like that, but generally in US, it's a very hands-on population, and they nothing is taken for granted. Let me say it that way. And rightfully so, because I think in India, why it is because the people management becomes a huge thing, because the numbers are huge. So like here we manage, because the work is outsourced, our span of work is a little lesser than in terms of people width, people bandwidth. So obviously we have to look into a lot more details than normally offshore. It may be changing in India today, but generally, you cannot, you have to know what you're doing. Even at the top, you should know exactly all the programs and things like that. It always helps.
Yeah, it's very hands-on kind of there, right?
Yeah.
So this remote thing you said, I mean, it was there before COVID-19 also. I mean, this pandemic, like this remote working culture.
Yes. Remote working has been always there. I don't know. In fact, I was always thinking, why don't we have it in India? But luckily or unluckily, in India, it started after the COVID. I think people have started working, and organizations have started trusting people because it is the same internet. It is the same internet there. The servers are the same. But I can tell you that there are pros and cons to remote working. That's for another day. But I feel that maybe the in-person working in India was enforced because of team building activities, and team building is better, and there's lesser friction when in office than rather than outside. And I know that in India, remote work is probably even more stressful than working in office. So yeah, but remote work is common here, very common here.
It's a good thing actually, because same internet, same thing you can do remotely also. So
Yes.
with this, Dr. Anup, I want to understand, you said no contractor roles. It's mean contractual, I mean in some contract period, right? Not permanent.
Yes.
Okay, that kind of role.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. In India, we don't take it seriously. Like we need permanent.
Yeah, and the contractor, sometimes our sponsors or pharma sponsors can insist that we will only do a contracting for any person contracts only twice or thrice. So they'll be forced to let go the contractor. So so that's a disadvantage here. But they can come back to the company after 6 months.
Okay.
So these things people don't know, right? So there are ways to actually see how this is happening. So people who are trying to find something here, they have to understand these things. They have to understand who the recruiter is and things like that. Yeah.
So with this, Dr. Anup, like people who really look forward to settle in abroad, no? I mean, like the kind of change you had, transition. So people who are looking for this kind of thing to move to abroad, no? What thing they should take care? I would say, like in the beginning of their career, what of thing they should keep in mind? Like you had internal movement. Other than this, other ways also, like how they can go. Let's say if anyone is working in India and he's having a good experience in some CRO, let's say IQVIA. So we know that they have offices in US also, Canada also. So is there any other way also other than internal movement which
Yes.
they can?
So I can talk for US. So I can tell you that first thing is, I think very basic is networking. And when I say networking, in-person networking. And how do you do in-person networking? You have to travel to conferences. And when you meet people, you have to ask, you have to make it again clear that you're looking for something here. And then you have to understand the recruitment market here or the industry here, how things work. And then you have to choose, or you have to have a shortlist some of these recruitment offices, or who sponsor your visa. So for example, Vita Data Science is where I work, and we sponsor visa. But having said that, it is also based on need. So we are always looking for candidates. We are always looking for people who are willing to join and move. But at the same time, those are all business requirements. Not every time we can have people move. It is, but we do sponsor visas sometimes. So main thing is that you have to understand the recruitment market here. LinkedIn is just one place. LinkedIn, it's a good way to start your networking, no doubt. But I would say you should start your in-person. If you find a coach who can help you out. Find a coach who can help you to find a job here, or even answer your question. It's a paid coach. It's a paid service. So nothing comes with. I know I have a lot of people who come and ask me these questions, but I help them to whatever extent I can, but it's only that much. When it comes to just writing or text messages, it's only that much the gain. But an in-person consultation is always wonderful. It's always helpful for understanding what the needs of that place are, how people, what works for them and what may not work. So a coach, a guide is very much needed. They have to. So there is you have a representative there, right? You have a representative. So who can work for you, who can do things. So I think that is super important. And then being in constant touch, constant follow-ups. Because we think that because we have been, I can tell you something right now, Dr. Neema, and then after some time, I will say, oh, I told you about this. You would have forgotten about it because I'm not the world, right? Your world could be something else. People have to understand this, that we not necessarily be a world to somebody. We are not. Most of the times we are not. And it's okay for that person, for Dr. Neema, to forget what Anup said, right? It's okay. But tomorrow when I come to you, I may have to reiterate and say, hey, Dr. Neema, I was actually looking for a job. Do you remember that? And Dr. Neema say, oh, I forgot about it. Yes, I was looking. So if I do this twice or thrice, then I know Dr. Neema remembers that. Right? But after 1 year, if I go and say, Dr. Neema will always forget it, right? So what I'm saying is that you have to develop that relationship. You have to develop that follow-up mechanisms every time. Whether it's emails is good, but always pick up the phone, talk to them, make a connection. Those kind of things go a long way. It may go to voicemail. That's okay. That's okay. You try 100 times. Don't forget trying, right? Don't give up. And have a goal. And like I said, I had a 5-year plan, and one of that was coming to US within 5 years. And exactly 4.5 years, I got an opportunity to come to US. So it all worked out fine for me.
Yeah, this goal setting, even now I will start. Like I have, like you have, like really 5 years, like for me, like maybe next 6 months, like small goal I have. But yeah, I also will start doing this activity, goal setting. It's very important. And the very important thing just now you mentioned, follow up. Many times people just assume, they don't follow up, and they are like, maybe next person is busy. We have our own thoughts in our mind, right? So yeah, follow up is very important. Yes. So with this, Dr. Anup, do you think that there is a need to acquire any additional education, maybe in the form of certifications, diploma, to bridge the gap between, especially people who are from clinical background? I would say doctors, dentists, medicos. So they need some additional this certification, maybe anything like that, where they can bridge this gap. Is there any requirement like this, as per you?
Yeah. So like we were discussing earlier, right? So in a corporate world, you cannot just now come with domain skills. You need technical skills also. So those people who already have some experience, I think they will relate to this very well. But those who don't have an experience of domain or a technical experience, I would say that. So let's say you're applying for a clinical research position. Know everything about the domain. A master's will certainly help, no doubt. I'm not saying masters will not help, because that will make your focus a little more sharper and you will know about that environment better. But you need to know the nature of this business here, the nature of the line where you're going to work. Once you know that, you need to know what the tools are and what kind of tools are actually used in your industry. And the reason is that today, without tools, you cannot work. Even if you go to a doctor, right, you are going to have a computer there, right? You're going to have a laptop there. They're going to enter things there. So how do they enter? What do they do? So and then you have to have skills to interact with the environment. you need to know how to present yourself or present the topic. One of the things which came easy to me was I could present very well. I could explain things very well, and that's why I was a trainer. But not everybody knows how to explain things. Not everybody, so they need to have structure of thought. If they don't have structure of thought, then they will not be able to do that. So to do that, they need to retrospect a lot. But there are a lot of online trainings, again, paid trainings, not YouTube trainings. YouTube helps to a certain extent. Okay. But there are some professional paid trainings online which you can use to, even I do them still now. Okay, I still do that. And they help you to cross that line, cross the finish line. So I know that people don't like to invest money or they want everything easier, not if not free. But if you do these things, you will. So basically, domain, technical skills. It could be a programming language. That's also great. And then the skills to communicate. It's not just English and you know how to communicate. No, it's no longer that way. It's structure of your thought, articulating that to that hour of need. And people have to show depth in the conversation. If they don't show the depth in the conversation, then their communication skills go down. It becomes more on the surface. And people who are evaluating this person, whether in an interview or elsewhere, they can easily find that out. So that person is disqualified in the next minute. So it's the depth of the conversation, structure of thought, domain skill, and technical skill.
So like you said, you're still learning. It's definitely learning must go on. If you want to, it should be like, it's not that after 40 or, no requirement. Yeah, it's a required thing. We all should have a constant learning. And like you said, absolutely, even I also agree. We have to invest on ourselves through these learnings.
Yes.
So that is very much required. And yeah, paid courses, because that gives you more clarity. Like you said, depth you will get. So superficial things won't work for a long time.
Yes.
So you need to have depth. Yeah. So, Dr. Anup, just now you said communication. Now, many times people think communication may be just speaking in English. I just want your views on communication, with respect to corporate people who want to enter, and even who are in corporate communication, how much it's important.
It is absolutely important. So, like I said earlier, you may think the other person will understand, but how will he understand if you have not told him, right? So communication is super important, but it is not just speaking in English. It could be in your own mother tongue. But have you been able to communicate what you need and what is the impact of your communication? Because you said this, what is going to trigger? Have you done a long-term thought of the impact of that? Because a lot of times we write or we speak, and that is today, it is recorded today, just like this is being recorded. Things are being recorded even in corporate world. So will that stand well when it is assessed or reassessed again and again, or is there something you can improve on? And then, like I said, it's a structure of thought. So for example, a lot of time you have to present. So if you want to move up the ladder, you should be able to present to your audience, right? You should be able to have a conference and talk to them about what you have done, what you are going to do, and what you have and why you have done. So you have to answer all the whys, who, what, when, how. Are you able to answer all the questions to every issue which comes up or every opportunity you get to speak your mind? That makes an impact. That shows what you are. So if you are not having that, so many a times what I do is you have to prepare for a meeting. Any meeting is there, even for this meeting, like I told you, I made notes for this meeting because I wanted to be prepared for this meeting. So a lot of times people don't prepare. And what ends up is that they end up asking things or saying things which they don't want to. And in today's world, everything is recorded. Your devices are hearing it, right? So what I'm saying is that you have to know the impact of your conversation. You have to understand or anticipate what others can perceive it as. They will not, it's, the Chinese whisper game, right? You know, people from the first person to the last person, it is a totally different conversation. It is a very important thing because if you want your message to reach to the top, that you need a promotion, right? Or you need your problem to be resolved, or you need a hike, or you need something else. You need to communicate that in a way that everybody understands it and not offended by it. How are you able to do it? Can you do that? Can you just say, like, you go and say, you tell your mom, I need a hike? No, it doesn't work that. So you need to be able to put it in a way, in a converse in a way that is professional, that is diplomatic, that is able to coerce interest from others into your. How do you make yourself the point of interest? Right? Like I told you, I am your point of interest for you this moment. In the next moment, I am not. But how do you make yourself a point of interest after this conversation? Right? So you have to make an impact. Is your work, the work which you do, is it really that impactful that that they remember you after you've done that works? Are you adding value to it? So communication, if you see only communication, it's a wrong way of looking at things. There's a lot of things going around that communication. And this is something which is not articulated in job descriptions very well. They say excellent communication skills, but it is not what that means. It just means that they want a responsible and accountable person in that office. That's all it means. So you have to learn to be responsible and accountable.
So mostly this job description, what I find, it's like main technical, other things are like saying copy paste. Excellent communication only they write.
Yeah.
Verbal and written.
And just to be fair with those job descriptions, a lot of times those roles are new and people don't know. And we don't know how the job description is going to be. But you're right. There is room for improvement. How that, it could be better written. And at the end of the day, anybody wants a responsible and accountable person joining their organization. And what that covers everything for every role.
Yeah, responsible and accountable. That is very important. Yeah, so with this next question, Dr. Anup, is like, what advice you will give to newbies? Definitely people who are looking for this kind of transition, especially from clinical to non-clinical, if they want to come, and also for people who want to, settle themselves in countries like Canada, the US, or, outside if they want to settle, how they should start?
From clinical to non-clinical, the answer lies in the question. So you have to understand what non-clinical means. So it is all full of technical world where it is you need to be device friendly, you need to be tech friendly, but also you need to understand the domain. You could there's a good it's good if you understand, if you learn Six Sigma. Six Sigma is very helpful. If you learn those processes, good. Don't think that this is a rosy picture. Moving to a different place, it's not a rosy picture. Yes, the dividends at the end of the day may be good, but it's a longer journey, more tougher, more harder than it might be in India. And so, but the lifestyle can be better. But at the same time, it's not a rosy picture. And then for people who are, like I said, I think from a communication standpoint, don't forget to ask for help. It's okay if you ask for help. There is no place for ego, like I said. And and don't, and just don't give up. I would say that for people who want to come to Canada or US, travel to places, conferences here. That's a very important thing, which I have not done it in the past when I was there. And I feel that whenever I go to these conferences, there's huge amount of energy and information which you can download and you get access to it. It's paid. Obviously, you're paying for it. There's a cost to it, no doubt about it. But the experience which you earn will definitely be worth it, and you will get all that money back. I can tell you that much. So don't hesitate to be part of conferences, travel, and if you're a travel friendly person, great, travel, and it changes your perception. It changes the way you look at your present problems. So you should travel. And yeah, Canada and US are great tourist places. So you should travel and spend some time other than just going to tourist places, but spend some time thinking about or getting in touch with people. One thing is always when, especially with job applications, people like to ask, "Are you here in the US, right? Or are you here in Canada?" And people who are trying, they're not there, right? So even during that time when you're applying, if you want to come in, it helps. But again, keep in mind, please check with what your visa is and what you can do in your visa or what you cannot do in a visa. That's important. Don't try to go against or do what is not allowed for, because laws are very important also. Yeah, I think that sums up, that they need to, there's a lot of place to network. The internet is they have to leverage that. As dentists, as clinical world, we hardly have time or look for the places in the internet, but there's a lot of safe places in the internet where you can get a wealth of information to do that. Look at blogs. There are a lot of people who have written blogs already. I don't know whether in your speakers you have blogs. I don't have, but you could have blogs people have done, YouTube. Try to search for these things. You can do Netflix too, but you can do this also. Right.
So yeah, so many learnings, Dr. Anup. Even now, even just having conversation with you, even now I'm planning. I have to go to US now, maybe some for conference or something. That is very important.
Yeah,
so yeah,
yes,
lots of
absolutely.
learning.
Yep,
So guys,
absolutely.
ask for help. Don't hesitate. Don't assume the things because you have to do these things proactively. I think this is the first thing for any communication.
Yes.
When I started my career into corporate, no, I was very much hesitant. An entire environment changes. Corporate is entirely different where there's a hierarchy. You directly can't go to your senior manager. Second line, you have to just first start with first line. I mean, so many things are there. Even if you want to talk to some person, email has to be there. So many things changes.
No, it's so think about yourself on a railway platform. If the train is coming late or if it is too very late, what would you do? You would ask somebody, right? And that person, you don't know that person, isn't it? So for that situation, you stood up for yourself and you went and asked for help, right?
Correct.
And in the corporate world, you are on such a platform too, where you don't know anybody. The train is almost ready to leave, or the train has not come, and you're wondering what you should do because time is up. And you should. So what will you do? You'll do the same thing. Whether it is senior manager or any person, he is a human being at the end of the day. You can knock and they will help you. I'll tell you many times, people have hesitated to ask help from me, but when they have asked, they said, I'm glad I talked to you. Right? So, and I did not have a cabin. I never liked a cabin. So you shouldn't hesitate to stand for yourself. And that's where your confidence starts. It is just asking a question or answer to your problem, a solution. You're trying to say so. And again, to some extent, I think there is an ego involved that how can I ask somebody, right? So you should stand for yourself and think about doing this for others, right? Maybe if you do it, others will also start. So start about doing things for others, then automatically, let's say that on that platform you had 10 people who are finding it difficult, or they had finding it difficult. So what would you do? Hey, I know what to do. Let me go and ask that person. And you would say to that guys on the platform that the train is coming 10 minutes late. Right? So all those 10 people refused to do something about it, but you did that. So what happened? You became a leader in that group, isn't it? So the next time they will say, Dr. Neema, do you know what time the next train is coming? And you have an answer for that too. Because you tried to do it for others. Most of the time, when you do it for yourself, it doesn't work.
Such a nice lesson, actually. Do it for others. Really, I don't want to end this conversation, actually.
And we can always have more of these conversations.
Really, I mean, so many valuable insights, eye opener, even so many learnings. I don't know about audience, like for me, so many things coming up.
Well, I'm glad it was helpful to you.
Yeah, so many things, Dr. Anup, so many things. I can't tell you. Yeah, definitely for audience also it will be, and definitely I would love to have some other interaction also with you.
Oh yes, definitely. You're always welcome. Always welcome.
Okay, so yeah, definitely, considering time and everything, I have to wind up now. And once again, thanks a lot, Dr. Anup, for giving this valuable insights and, taking time out of your definitely busy schedule. Yeah, thank you once again.
I want to thank you too. I think you're doing a great thing, helping others to get good careers, and I applaud your effort. And I thank you for. I'm humbled that you found my profile and you got in touch with me. Thank you very much.
So thank you once again, Dr. Nadu, for coming here, and thank you guys for watching this interaction. And I hope you got so many valuable insights. Like I'm already got so many insights through this conversation, and I would request all of you to share one learning which you had through this conversation in the comment box below. And please don't forget to share your comments, your learnings in the comments below. And with this, we are going to wind up this interaction, and we'll be coming soon with some fresh next video. Till the time I come again, till that time, please stay safe, aware, updated, and keep exploring new things. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Yes. Okay, guys, have a nice day. Thank you all. Hey guys, thank you for watching this video till the end, and I hope you have learned a lot through this interaction. So like I discussed in the video also, please share one of your learning which you had through this interaction, and also please check out the LinkedIn profile link of Dr. Anup Joshi in the description below. And again I am requesting, please guys, keep sharing your learning point through these interactions, because it takes a lot to bring these kind of experts into our talk show, into our channel. And really they are giving so much time for this interaction, for this learning. So please share your learning in the comment box, and would love to read each and every comment. And also another humble request is, if you really like this content, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and please share with your friends who are looking for a similar kind of transition. Yeah. So with this, we are going to end this, and see you next time once again. Thank you.